Hi folks, Cindy Highcheck, candidate for House District 49 State Representative, and I'm coming to you to bring a clarification on where we are on our abortion code and the law that we have in place, as well as an amendment that would have ended abortion in Indiana. First of all, as far as our current abortion law that we passed after the Supreme Court overturned Roe, it was SB 1, and of course that law has in place where it closed 7 abortion clinics in Indiana. It removed licensing for those clinics. However, it transferred that licensing to certain qualified outpatient surgical centers. So the day that the ink dried on that bill, yes, we closed 7 abortion centers, but there were actually 144 outpatient surgical centers that then immediately qualified to do abortions. So that was not much of a win for those of us that had been accustomed to doing pro-life counseling on the sidewalks. That was not a win. For everyone that shut down, we potentially had 20 more spring up. The second problem that I'm going to talk about tonight in the law is an exception for rape. It has a rape loophole. And that rape loophole is problematic because all a woman has to do is say that she was raped, and it does not require a forensic exam, nor does it require a police report for an apparently such a heinous crime that that a woman would end the life of her preborn child over it. So even if I were prone to thinking that abortion is a solution to erase the trauma of rape, and that the crimes committed to the mother justify the mother's crimes to the child, I don't believe that. But even if I did, I would want to have either or both a forensic exam and a police report before I would have the rape loophole. But our bill on page 14 of SB 1, it says, in part, and we'll put all of it on the screen here, but it says, before the abortion, the attending physician shall certify in writing that the abortion is being performed at the woman's request. And it's because the pregnancy is the result of rape or incest. So simply the woman telling the doctor is enough according to SB 1. So with that, that's some of the weaknesses in the law that we passed. Of course, we know that as of the making of this video, the Indiana Department of Health has still not released numbers on the number of abortions, so we really don't know. I hope and pray that those numbers truly went down, but we also know that nothing in SB 1 dealt with chemical abortions, and those numbers, the mail order chemical abortions, are not being captured. They're not illegal. So we have problems, we have loopholes. Those of us that are truly interested in preserving the life of the unborn, that we see them fully human, these loopholes don't help preserve those lives. They are not saving lives. But one of the areas that has been problematic is defining what Amendment 76, the Protection of Life Amendment, did and didn't do, what it did and didn't say. All of this, by the way, is available on my website, www.win4liberty.com. Go to the Compare Candidates tab, and the very first option, if you open that up, it has several issues where my opponent and I differ, and it has hyperlinks to her voting record, and there are inconsistencies with the voting record. Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. So I would question why we don't vote consistently on any single matter when the option is constitutional. So with that, let's take a look at what my opponent said about Amendment 76 and the reason that she could not vote yes to protect life at fertilization.
I'm not an attorney, but I work with the Attorney General in the state of Indiana. That amendment is unconstitutional, nonsensical, and unenforceable. The severability clause in that made it unconstitutional. Had that bill passed and it would have gone to the courts would have pulled out the unconstitutional part. We would have been left with the first part, which was no abortion code in the state of Indiana, which would have made it automatically you could have abortions up to 40 weeks. That's where that amendment would have left us. That is dangerous. That is someone that doesn't understand law and someone that will not work with the Attorney General's office.
Okay, so you've heard it with her own words, in her own words. She said that the severability would have, the courts could have struck out the language and left the part where we could have abortion up to 40 weeks, and it would left babies unprotected. Well, that would be terrible, and I would not want that. There's just one problem. It's not factually accurate. I have here page 20 of Amendment 76, and it starts on line 24. It says Chapter 5. It says non-severability. This amendment was written with non-severability, so that if it had passed, it would have gone into the bill, and the bill would have been non-severable. And it continues, and we'll have the language for you to look at. But it's factually inaccurate to say that that severability is the reason that she could not vote yes on this. So we'll keep pushing forward. We'll keep trying to vet the information as accurately as possible, always going back to the law as written to give you, the voters, the information that you need so you can choose which representative represents you the best in the May 7th primary. Thank you, and this message is approved by the Friends of Cindi High-Tech campaign. Have a great day.
That amendment is unconstitutional, nonsensical, and enforceable. The severability clause in that made it unconstitutional.